Hey everyone, we're going to get started here in just a moment. Let me share my screen. Hey, welcome back to another session for What's New at Woven. I'm Trent. I'm the Director of Customer Success here at Woven, and today we're just going to talk through what has been added to the product in the last 2 weeks or so. Technically speaking, these things are actually going to go out tonight. So if you have some of the functionality we're about to talk about, you'll see these updates in your account tomorrow morning, most likely, unless you're poking around after hours this evening. So in no order of operations here necessarily, the first things to show you are going to be around work orders. So a few enhancements related to that. I'm going to go to maintenance and then work orders. The first one is in the filters. So there are a few new filters that we've added. Those are asset status. So you can now filter your work order management table here by, is this an active asset or an inactive asset? And that's new functionality. You also now have the ability to filter by asset type, whether that's a piece of equipment asset, if it's a facility, IT, or PM. Those are all new as well. You also have the ability to filter by asset subcategory. So previously you had the ability to just do a category. You now have additional granularity to take that all the way to the subcategory. The assigned team member field is now a multi-select like that, as is collaborators is now a multi-select, kind of a small thing, but you can now put multiple names in those areas. And taking a look at my list here. There's one more thing to show you on those, which is if you switch to the filters to closed, there is a closed by filter as well. So if you're just trying to say, who closed these work orders, you can take a look and just search that as well. So quite a bit more there in your filters. Additionally, for work orders, this page in general, we have been seeing reports over the last few weeks of longer load times on this screen, specifically for accounts at a scale where they're trying to return, let's say, like 5,000 work orders or more. In that case, Woven is making some updates where a banner will pop up if it's trying to return too many results to tell you that it's still working on it, or to prompt you to narrow your search results, as well as if I scroll down at the bottom here, right? The improving like load times and things on this particular page. So kind of all back end stuff, nothing to really demonstrate there, but just know that we are making some improvements there. And the very last thing to show you in the work order side is, let me switch back to a work order here. I'm going to go into this random work order. We've added the ability to change the type of the work order. So this one was in here for an asset that was a vehicle. You could always change this from a vehicle to something else and feel like to protect from bad data entry rate, right? Maybe somebody chose the wrong vehicle in this case. You can already click here and change it to the right vehicle. This change is if the work order is basically completely wrong, right? It shouldn't have been a vehicle work order. It's something completely different. I can change it as an admin. I can come in here and say, actually, this should have been something for the facility. Actually, it was whatever it might have been. It was an electrical issue. And specifically, it was this electrical issue. And then override the work order completely. Previous to this update, you would have not been able to do this. You would have had to delete the work order that was put in erroneously and submit a new one and a fresh one. So you now have the ability to kind of make it whatever you need it to be. So one of the bigger updates, and likely a crowd pleaser. That one's been asked for a bit. And I was wrong. There's one more thing to show you in work orders. So in this work order, I have the tags down here, and I can click and I can select a tag, just like this. You now have the ability in work order settings to archive your tags. So if you have your tags here and you want certain ones to no longer be an option for people to use, you just click this little archive button, and that is no longer going to be an option for people to select for tagging purposes. You can keep your list nice and clean. However, that tag that I just archived is still available in reports as a filter, so I can still return data on it. It just means that it's not visible in work order management and work order details. So kind of a small thing. You can also always review which ones you currently have as inactive tags versus your active tags. Cool. Moving on from work orders, the next thing to show you is employee skills and certifications. So this one's also been asked for quite a bit. I'm going to show it to you here. So under team member settings, there's this new tab for skills and certifications. And you're going to see here is a list of skills that I put in my fictitious account. And just a simple list, and I'll show you where that lives here in a moment. Then we also have this area over here where I can configure certifications. So in Woven, we have like compliance certifications and things like that. So we report on things like licenses, insurances, background checks, employment verification, that kind of thing. But we're frequently asked to be able to also report on things like AED or certifications on CPR, or is this person a certified electrician, stuff like that. So in this screen, you can create those and what those options are here. And then once you've done that, you can actually go to a team member's profile, such as Alana here, and then there's skills and certs tab. You can apply either skills that they have and what level of expertise they have on those skills, or certifications that they have and when do those expire. Then, because I have all of this here and configured, I can go to the report center, and there's going to be a new report associated with that information called, where did it go? Team member certifications. And so I can get a nice clean data set on that. People are also going to get reminders as these certifications come up. It can inspire, kind of like the insurance and license verification stuff that we have in another part of Woven. So that's all brand new. And additional downstream functionality will be coming. Things like in the future, you'll be able to potentially dispatch a work order based on a skill or certification. So think, hey, this person can only do this type of work order if they're an electrician. And Woven will actually be able to look, and if it has that data, it'll actually be able to say, great, Trent is an electrician, and he can take this work order. So more to come with that functionality, but this is the prerequisite for it. Nice. Next, we have on this list, we have an update to incidents. So in the incidents area, under settings, we have a new option that's under type. So if I go to type here, and I go to something like, let's say this customer conflict, I have the option to track this type of incident as workplace violence, and there's a yes, no for that, as well as there's additional fields that are available to be shown here. So I have workplace violence fields and police report fields. If I enable those things, let Woven save, and go ahead and add an incident here. And I choose the type of incident as customer service conflict, there will be these new sections of questions as an option for you. So workplace violence with aggressor relationships and threat types and security responses and corrective actions, as well as police specific types of questions. This, I believe, is primarily meant to support some new laws in California. However, it's available to be used regardless of state. So that's brand new. Next, I'm going to switch accounts to show you an LMS item. So for LMS, we now have the ability to archive a course. So as you're building out your courses and ultimately your course plans, previously you only had the option to publish, unpublish, put it something in draft, or delete. We now have the idea of archiving. So means kind of similar to everything else that you can archive in Woven. You can still find the data in reports and it's not gone for good, but this course would no longer be an option to be used for future course plans and things like that. All I need to do is go to the course that I'm looking to archive, click the down arrow right here, and click Archive Course. Perfect. Okay, looking through my notes, those are the things to highlight for this release. Again, the things that you just saw are going out this evening, so you'll see them first thing tomorrow morning. If you have the functionality we talked about. Also, I will tease that in the next call for this See What's New at Woven, there will be an overview of what we're calling our new communications feature, as well as our new homepage and kind of some talking points around the plan for the rollout out of that. Those would be functionality that you would have if you currently have our announcements and communication features. These will be swapped in for those. So more details to come. Tentatively planning on doing a webinar around the 30th, but TBD on all of that. As always, thank you for the time. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me during your lunch break. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks.